There's a luxury Prada store sitting alone in the Texas desert, and in over 20 years, its door has never once opened. No staff, no customers, just designer handbags glowing in the middle of nowhere. Sounds fake, right? It's 100% real. And it's not even the strangest thing in this state. Texas is hiding a house wrapped in 50,000 beer cans, a pit so deep and dark that settlers named it after the devil himself, and glowing lights in the desert that scientists have been trying to explain since 1883 and still can't. I'm about to show you 12 places in Texas so bizarre you'll swear they can't be real. But every single one is a spot you can actually visit. And trust me, number 8 might be the creepiest natural wonder you've never heard of. So stick around to the end, because this list gets weirder with every stop. Number 1, Prada Marfa. Picture this. You've been driving for hours through empty West Texas desert. No towns, no gas stations, nothing but dust, sky, and the occasional tumbleweed rolling across the road. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, a sleek, glowing Prada boutique appears on the horizon. Real handbags in the window, real shoes lined up on the shelves, the famous Prada logo shining above the door. Your brain short circuits. What is a luxury fashion store doing in the middle of a desert? Here's the twist. It's not a store at all. It's a permanent art installation called Prada Marfa, built back in 2005 by 2 artists, Elm Green and Dragset, for around $120,000. And it sits near a tiny town called Valentine with a population of just 70-something people. But the strangest part? The artist designed it to never open. No sales, no staff. The plan was for the desert to slowly reclaim it over the years, to let it crack, fade, and decay naturally, like a ruin from the future. And here's where it gets even weirder. Just days after it was built, thieves broke in and stole everything inside. So the artists got creative. Now every handbag on display has no bottom, and every shoe is a right foot only, making them completely worthless to steal. Genius, honestly. Today it's one of the most photographed spots in all of Texas. People drive from across the country just to stand in front of a store they can never shop at. Want to see it yourself? It's right on US Route 90, about 1.4 miles outside Valentine. There's no admission fee, and it's technically open 24/7. But remember, there's nothing around for miles. Fill your gas tank, pack plenty of water, and aim for sunrise or sunset when the golden light hits the glass and the photos look unreal. So ask yourself, if this appeared after hours of empty road, wouldn't you hit the brakes too? Number 2, Cadillac Ranch. Now picture a wide, flat field just outside Amarillo. Wheat-colored dirt stretching to the horizon, and then rising out of the ground like some kind of alien crop, 10 classic Cadillacs buried nose first in the earth, their tail fins pointing straight up at the Texas sky. It looks like a giant tried to plant cars and walked away. But this is one of the most famous roadside attractions in America, and the story behind it is just as wild as the site itself. Back in 1974, a group of artists called Ant Farm rolled into town with a strange vision. They lined up 10 Cadillacs, models ranging from 1949 to 1963, and buried them at a sharp angle, nose down. Why? To show off how the iconic Cadillac tail fin changed and evolved over the years. It's basically a timeline of automotive history stuck in the dirt. But here's what makes Cadillac Ranch truly bizarre. It never looks the same twice. Visitors are actually encouraged to spray paint the cars as much as they want, whenever they want. So over the decades, layer after layer of paint has built up so thick, it's now measured in inches. Whatever masterpiece you spray today will be completely covered by tomorrow. Names, hearts, doodles, declarations of love, all of it disappears within hours, painted over by the next wave of travelers. It's art that's constantly being created and destroyed at the same time. Where else can you legally tag a piece of history and be thanked for it? Want to leave your mark? Cadillac Ranch sits right off Route 66 and Interstate 40, just west of Amarillo. It's completely free to visit. Bring your own spray paint, though there's now a merch truck on site that sells cans if you forget. And go early in the day to claim a fresh patch of metal before the crowds roll in, because here, Everyone gets to be the artist, even if it only lasts a few hours. Number 3, the Beer Can House. Let's head to Houston now, to a quiet neighborhood street where one house makes everyone slam on the brakes. From a distance, it shimmers, like the whole place is wrapped in silver scales, catching the sunlight. Get closer, and you realize what you're actually looking at. A home covered, top to bottom, in thousands and thousands of beer cans. This is the legendary Beer Can House, and the story behind it is pure, glorious stubbornness. Back in 1968, a retired upholsterer named John Milkovich decided he was done with two things he hated: mowing the lawn and painting the house. So instead of doing yard work like everyone else, he came up with his own solution. He started flattening the beer cans he drank and using them to cover his entire home. He didn't stop for 18 years. By the time he was finished, an estimated 50,000 beer cans clad the walls, the fences, even hung in long, dangling garlands of can tops that chimed softly in the wind like wind chimes. He poured concrete studded with marbles and metal into his yard, so he'd never have to mow again. Every surface became part of the project. And here's the surprisingly clever part. Those shiny aluminum walls actually reflected the Texas heat, reportedly helping to lower the family's summer energy bills. What started as one man avoiding chores accidentally became a work of folk art genius that people now travel across the world to see. Just imagine the commitment: drinking, flattening, and nailing up enough cans to wrap an entire house for nearly 2 decades straight. Want to visit? The Beer Can House sits at 222 Malone Street in Houston, and it's now cared for by a local art organization. It's usually open on weekends with a small admission fee, so check their website before you go. So the next time someone tells you to do your chores, maybe think of John. Sometimes the laziest idea becomes the most unforgettable one. Number 4, the Marfa Lights. This is the one I told you to wait for, so pay close attention. Out in the high desert near the town of Marfa, something happens on clear, dark nights that has puzzled people for over a century. Strange glowing orbs of light appear on the horizon, drifting toward the Chinati Mountains. They flicker, they split apart, they merge back together, they hover in place, then suddenly dart across the landscape like they're alive. Sometimes they're white, sometimes red, orange, or blue. And no matter how long people have studied them, nobody can fully explain what they are. These are the famous Marfa Lights, and here's the part that gives everyone chills. The very first documented sighting happened way back in 1883. A young cowboy named Robert Ellison spotted them while herding cattle and assumed they were Apache campfires glowing in the distance. But when he searched the area, he found nothing. No ash, no fire, no trace at all. Now, skeptics have a simple answer. They say the lights are just car headlights on faraway Highway 67, bent and distorted by layers of hot and cold desert air. And sure, that might explain some of them. But here's the problem with that theory. People were seeing these lights long before cars even existed, decades before the first automobile ever rolled across Texas. So what was glowing out there in the 1800s? That's the part science still can't answer. And that mystery is exactly why thousands of people make the trip every single year, just to stand in the dark and hope to catch a glimpse. Want to try your luck? There's an official Marfa Lights viewing area, built in 1986, located about 9 miles east of town on US Route 67. For the best shot at seeing them, go on a clear, moonless night and give your eyes a full 20 minutes to adjust to the darkness. Then just wait and watch. Because sooner or later, you might find yourself whispering the same question everyone does. Wait, did you just see that? Number 5, Hamilton Pool. Now let's trade the desert for something that looks like it belongs in a fantasy movie. Just about 30 minutes outside Austin, near a town called Dripping Springs, there's a hidden grotto so beautiful it almost doesn't look real. Picture a pool of glowing emerald green water, half tucked inside a giant stone dome. A 50-foot waterfall spills gently over the jagged rim above. Ferns and moss hang from the rocks. The air is cool and damp, and the light filters down in soft golden beams. It feels ancient, secret, like a place that's been hidden from the world for thousands of years. And in a way, it has. Because here's the incredible part. This entire place was created by a collapse. Thousands of years ago, an underground river flowed right through here, carving out a massive cavern beneath the surface. So when you swim here, you're actually floating in the ruins of a collapsed cave, surrounded by the very dome that fell in all those years ago. Nature didn't design this masterpiece. It built it completely by accident. But here's something you absolutely need to know before you pack your swimsuit. This isn't a place you can just show up to. It took the Earth thousands of years to build this by mistake, which really makes you wonder, what other secret worlds are still hiding right beneath our feet? Number 6, Cathedral of Junk. Back to Austin now, but this time into someone's backyard. And what's waiting there will completely scramble your idea of what counts as art. Tucked behind a normal-looking house in South Austin stands a towering, twisting structure that rises up over the trees. It's a maze of arches, tunnels, staircases, and rooms, all built from things most people throw away. Old bicycles, rusted hubcaps, broken TVs, bottles, signs, gears, even a toilet bowl wedged into one of the walls. Piece by piece, it all comes together into something genuinely jaw-dropping. This is the Cathedral of Junk, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It was built by a man named Vince Hanneman, who started stacking and welding discarded objects together decades ago, with no real plan, just a vision. Bit by bit, year by year, it grew. And today, this backyard wonder is estimated to hold a staggering 60 tons of junk. But here's what makes it so surprising. It's not a random pile, it's organized, even beautiful. There are themed sections and color-coded rooms, including a famous pink room packed with pink objects, and areas built almost entirely from old bicycle parts. You can actually walk inside it, climb through it, and explore it like a real cathedral. It should look like a garbage heap, but somehow it feels like a temple. It's the ultimate proof of that old saying, one person's trash really is another person's treasure, taken to the absolute extreme. Want to explore it yourself? Here's the important part. The Cathedral of Junk sits on private residential property. It's literally in someone's backyard. So you can't just show up. You have to call ahead and schedule a visit first, and a small donation is always appreciated to help keep it going. So next time you're about to toss something in the trash, take a second look. Because as Vince proved, with enough vision and patience, even garbage can become something people travel miles just to stand inside. Number 7, Stonehenge II. You know Stonehenge, those massive, mysterious stones standing in the English countryside, built over 5,000 years ago, a puzzle that historians still argue about. Ancient, sacred, surrounded by legend. Now imagine stumbling across one in the Texas Hill Country. Near a little town called Ingram, just outside Kerrville, there's a near full-size replica of Stonehenge standing right out in the open. The towering stone arches, the famous circular layout. From a distance, it genuinely looks like a piece of ancient England got picked up and dropped into Texas. And just to make things even more wonderfully random, sitting right next to it are two giant Easter Island-style heads, those iconic stone faces from the Pacific. So how did this strange mashup of world monuments end up in rural Texas? The answer is the most Texan thing you'll ever hear. It all started with two friends, Al Shepard and Doug Hill. One of them had a leftover slab of stone sitting around after a project. Instead of tossing it, they got an idea. They decided to build their own Stonehenge, just for the fun of it. No ancient ritual, no deep meaning, just pure, joyful, why not? The finished monument stands at roughly 2/3 the size of the original, and astonishingly, it only took them about 9 months to build, using a clever framework covered in plaster to mimic the look of giant stone. England's took centuries. These two Texans knocked theirs out in under a year. And then, naturally, they added the Easter Island heads. Because if you're already building wonders of the world in your field, why stop at one? Want to see it? Today, Stonehenge II has been relocated to the grounds of the Hill Country Arts Foundation near Ingram. And the best part, it's completely free to visit during daylight hours. It's the perfect reminder that not every monument needs an ancient mystery behind it. Sometimes the only reason something incredible exists is because someone decided it'd be fun. Number 8, the Devil's Sinkhole. This is the one I warned you about. The creepiest natural wonder on this entire list. So take a breath and imagine standing at the edge of this. Out in the remote hill country near a tiny town called Rock Springs, the flat Texas landscape suddenly opens up. There's a hole in the ground, a vast gaping pit that plunges straight down into total darkness. It's so abrupt, so unexpected, that it looks like a giant punched a hole right through the earth. This is the Devil's Sinkhole, and it's every bit as ominous as its name. The main shaft drops about 350 feet straight down, deep enough to swallow a 30-story building, and it doesn't stay narrow. Down in the darkness, the cavern opens into a massive underground chamber that stretches over 1,000 feet across at its widest point. Early settlers took one look at this bottomless-seeming void and were convinced it led somewhere unholy, hence the name. But here's what makes it truly unforgettable, because this pit doesn't just sit there silently. Every evening during the warm months, the Devil's Sinkhole comes alive. Out of that black hole pours a swirling, churning tornado of bats, millions of Mexican free-tailed bats, spiraling up into the sky in a living black cloud. They pour out for what feels like forever, fanning across the hill country to hunt insects through the night. The ground seems to breathe them out. It's one of the most jaw-dropping wildlife spectacles in all of Texas. Want to witness it? Here's the key. The Devil's Sinkhole is a protected state natural area, and you can't just wander up to the edge. Access is by guided tour only, booked through Texas Parks and Wildlife, partly to keep you safe and partly to protect those bats. For the full experience, book an evening bat flight tour and time it for that magical moment at dusk. Stand there as the sun sinks low and watch the earth itself seem to exhale into the sky. Number 9, Barney Smith's Toilet Seat Museum. Okay, after that eerie pit of bats, let's lighten things up with something gloriously, ridiculously strange. Because this next place might just be the most unexpected museum in all of Texas. Imagine walking into a room and seeing the walls covered, floor to ceiling, with over 1,000 toilet seat lids. And not just plain ones. Each one is hand-painted and decorated, turned into its own little piece of art. Sounds like a joke, right? But this is a real, beloved Texas treasure, and the man behind it spent over half a century building it. Meet Barney Smith, a retired master plumber from the San Antonio area. One day, decades ago, Barney had a quirky idea. Instead of throwing away old toilet seat lids, why not turn them into canvases? And once he started, he simply never stopped. For more than 50 years, Barney painted, decorated, and customized over 1,000 toilet seats. And here's the wild part. These weren't just doodles. He embedded all kinds of incredible objects into them. License plates, coins, mementos from travelers, even genuinely rare items like volcanic ash and a piece of the Berlin Wall. Each lid told a little story. People from all over the world sent him pieces to include, until his humble garage museum became a true folk art legend. It's living proof that you don't need fancy materials to create something unforgettable. Barney found his life's passion in the last place anyone would think to look, and he turned it into a masterpiece collection people now travel to see. Want to check it out? After Barney passed away, his beloved collection was carefully preserved and relocated to Truck Yard in the Colony, just outside Dallas. The best news? It's completely free to view, so you can grab some food and a drink while you wander past 1,000 painted lids. So the next time you think your hobby is too weird to matter, just remember Barney. Sometimes the strangest passion becomes the most iconic legacy of all. Number 10, the giant eyeball. Now let's head into the heart of a big city, downtown Dallas, where you'd expect skyscrapers, business suits, and busy sidewalks. And you'd be right, until you round one particular corner. Because there, towering over a small park, is something that stops every single person dead in their tracks. A giant human eyeball, 3 stories tall, staring right back at you. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's real, and it's incredibly detailed. We're talking a massive white eyeball complete with delicate red veins stretching across the surface, and a piercing blue iris in the center. And here's the slightly unsettling part. That blue iris was modeled after the artist's own eye. So in a way, it's a real human eye, blown up to the size of a building. It's officially titled, very simply, Eye. And it sits right behind the Jewel Hotel, completely out in the open, watching over the comings and goings of one of Dallas's busiest areas. People walk by every day on their way to work, glance up, and suddenly remember there's a 3-story eyeball observing them. But it gets even better at night. When the sun goes down, the sculpture is lit up from below, giving it an eerie, glowing presence in the dark. That's when it really earns its reputation as one of the most surreal sights in the whole city. It's the perfect example of how art can turn an ordinary street corner into something completely unforgettable and just a little bit spooky. Want to see it for yourself? The giant eyeball sits in a small public park on Main Street in downtown Dallas, and it's free to visit anytime. For the full effect, go after dark when it's glowing and at its most dramatic. So you came to Dallas to see the big city sights. But here's the twist. At this stop, the city is very much seeing you right back. Number 11, the Munster Mansion. Now here's one for anyone who's ever loved a TV show a little too much, because what this Texas couple did takes fandom to a whole new level. In the town of Waxahachie, just south of Dallas, sits a sprawling, spooky Victorian mansion. Dark, gothic, gloriously creepy. The kind of place you'd expect to find monsters living inside. And that's exactly the point, because this isn't just any old mansion. It's a full-scale, brick-by-brick recreation of the home from the classic 1960s TV show, The Munsters. If you grew up watching that wonderfully weird sitcom about a family of friendly monsters, you'll recognize it instantly. The towering gables, the eerie front porch, the haunted house charm. It looks like it steps straight out of your television screen and into rural Texas. But here's the part that makes this truly jaw-dropping. The couple who built it were such devoted fans that they recreated the house without any real blueprints, because none ever existed. The original was just a Hollywood set. So how did they pull it off? They studied old episodes frame by frame, pausing and rewinding, sketching out every room, every angle, every tiny detail they could spot on screen. Then they built it for real, as their actual home. Think about the dedication that takes. Most of us just quote our favorite shows or hang up a poster. This couple essentially moved into theirs, turning decades of love for a sitcom into a real, livable house that fans now travel from all over to see. Want to visit? Here's the important part. The Munster Mansion is a private residence. People actually live there. So please, don't just show up and knock. Instead, the owners typically open it to the public only for special charity events, usually around Halloween. Look those up online and plan your trip around one of those dates. Because this isn't just a replica of a home, it's living proof of what pure, joyful fandom can build. Number 12, the Floating Mesa. And now for our final stop, we're heading back out near Amarillo for something that will make you question your own eyes. Literally. Picture driving down a quiet Texas road surrounded by those classic flat-top mountains called mesas. It's a normal desert view until one particular mesa comes into sight, and something is very wrong with it. The entire top of the mountain appears to be floating, hovering in midair, completely detached from the base beneath it. There's a clean, impossible gap of sky separating the peak from the rest of the mountain. For a second, your brain just can't process it. A chunk of solid mountain, floating? It looks like a glitch in reality. This is the famous Floating Mesa, and the secret behind it is brilliantly simple. It's the work of artist Stanley Marsh III. Yes, the very same eccentric patron who helped bring us Cadillac Ranch way back at number 2. To create the illusion, he had a wide horizontal white stripe painted across the face of the mesa, perfectly matching the color of the sky behind it. So when you view it from a distance, at just the right angle, that white stripe blends into the horizon, making the top of the mountain look like it's hovering, weightless, above the land. It's nothing more than paint and a clever optical trick. But standing there, staring at a floating mountain, it feels like pure magic. Your logical brain knows it's impossible, Your eyes insist it's happening, and that tug of war is exactly what makes it so unforgettable. Want to catch it? The Floating Mesa sits on private ranch land, so you can't walk right up to it. You'll need to view it from the roadside, and finding the right vantage point is everything for the full effect. Since it's near Amarillo, it pairs perfectly with a trip to Cadillac Ranch. So there it floats, defying gravity, defying logic, the perfect final proof that in Texas, seeing isn't always believing. And there you have it. 12 places in Texas so bizarre, you'd swear they couldn't possibly be real. From a Prada store that's never opened, to a pit that breathes out millions of bats, to a mountain that floats in midair, this state is so much weirder and more wonderful than anyone gives it credit for. So now I've got to ask, which one of these would you brave first? Would you stand at the edge of the Devil's Sinkhole at dusk? Spray paint your name at Cadillac Ranch? Or chase those unexplained Marfa Lights out in the dark desert? Drop your answer in the comments below. I genuinely want to know. And hey, if you know a strange hidden Texas spot that I missed, please tell me about it. Because trust me, this list barely scratches the surface. There are dozens more out there, which means a part 2 might just be waiting in the wings. If you want it. If this video took you somewhere unexpected today, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button. It really helps more curious travelers discover these hidden gems. And make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next strange and surprising adventure. Before you grab your keys, one quick heads up. Many of these spots require reservations, guided tours, or sit on private property, and their hours can change with the seasons. So always double-check the official websites before you make the drive. Travel smart, be respectful of these places and the locals who love them, and they'll stay weird and wonderful for the next traveler who comes along. Now, if you're hungry for even more unbelievable places, check out the video popping up on your screen right now. It's packed with bizarre roadside wonders from across America. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And remember, everything really is bigger and a whole lot weirder in Texas. See you in the next one.